Hi everyone, and welcome to this bi-weekly eco investment update. It is mid-August. The summer's kind of winding down, and that means that things are going to start firing up pretty soon on Wall Street and in the investment world. Things always slow down in the summertime. A lot of people are on holidays and vacations. The old Wall Street saying, sell in May and go away. And a lot of people do that, but then come after Labor Day and things pick up and people start looking forward to the Christmas shopping season and the early pulse of retail and how it's going to be for the holidays and all that. Well, some significant things that I've noted lately are that Walmart, which is sort of a bellwether of what I call mass retailing in the United States, is still having tremendous problems getting people through the door and having revenues and earnings go up. And actually for 7 straight quarters, almost 2 years, now they've had declining profitability here as they get squeezed. And of course we have Target Corporation, which after sailing along smoothly for decade after decade has lost its way because, as I mentioned in the last update, the middle class is being squeezed out in this country. And the middle class is really the bread and butter of Target Corporation, and a lot of that also for Walmart. And we just simply have too much of retail chasing too few dollars now. And the sad reality, as I mentioned last time, was if you lose your job, and it's a good paying job in this country, the difficulty of finding another comparable paying job is astoundingly difficult. It's amazingly difficult. This is why the unemployment rate that's reported really masks a lot of what's going on in the economy. All this shifting as people move from good wage jobs to mixed jobs and poor wage jobs. And you see people now starting to want to unionize fast food places like McDonald's and place to get $15 an hour for a working wage. Well, we didn't used to have that pressure before because jobs like McDonald's and restaurant jobs and things, they were entry-level jobs. They were jobs you went to during high school and during college and stuff, but you didn't expect to ever stay there and raise a family. But now that's exactly what's happening. And people are seeing, I am not making it on the wages I'm getting. I'm really being squeezed to death. So as a result, you're seeing this pressure growing on the wages at the real low end there. So as I expect this squeezing of the middle class to definitely continue because we lost a lot of our manufacturing base in this country. It's one thing to sell goods and services to somebody, but it's another thing to be making those products. And we've wiped out a lot of our industrial manufacturing base in this country. And just like the real estate boom of the late 1990s into the mid 2000s was built on a bubble of financing BS, liar loans and all that, where everybody could get a loan. Even if you had a pulse, you could get a loan. Well, it's a far different world today out there, and it's very difficult. And I've talked before about the friction in the marketplace and how hard it is to get things done now, and how hard it is to make a dollar and earn a dollar and borrow a dollar, because so many people's credit has been compromised. And I expect this trend to continue for quite some time. But when we used to have a manufacturing base, we had our hard recessions now and then, but we always were producing something, and in producing and selling something, we had a viable base for really good jobs in this country. But a lot of that manufacturing has now moved overseas to take advantage of cheaper wages. So as a result, we have just service jobs and people selling to each other. These tremendous distortions in the economy, like when somebody tells you the whole of the Northeast, not every person, but the population of the Northeast, New England in the United States, that equivalent population is on disability now. I mean, can you imagine the huge chunk of non-productive activity? And I'm not saying that, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying a lot of people that are on disability need disability. I'm just saying it's a fact of life that just the number of people drawing on the systems as opposed to paying in the systems continue to create these tremendous imbalances and this continuing drive to cut costs, to cut costs, to cut costs, all at the expense of the middle class being weeded out. I heard an interesting lecture on robotics and how hard they're working now to bring robotics in to replace people for as many possible functions as possible, because they don't call in sick, they don't ask for raises, they don't mind working overtime. Well, you get the point. There's just really tremendous fundamental shifts taking place in the economy. Apart from that, though, the stock market, as I've been saying since I first started doing these uploads last October, the stock market could care less, okay? We're up here around 16,600, 700, within shooting distance of an all-time high. The S&P, I think, is really close, and the NASDAQ to a multi-year high, because we have this low interest rate environment. And if anything, it got even worse in the last month or so as interest rates have moved down. That 10-year note, that bellwether 10-year U.S. government borrowing note, has gone from about 2.55, 2.6 down to 2.3%. It doesn't sound like much, but these are huge, huge percentage moves. Interest rates are low because the demand for money is low. Banks don't want your money, okay? Banks are starting to charge people for making deposits now, for keeping the money in the bank, because they just sit there on a pile of non-productive cash, and they've got to try to figure out how to make money. And it used to be easy when you could just lend it, buy U.S. government debt, and get the return, but now that return is so low, what do? They sit there and make deposit rates so repulsive that when you come in the door, it's a wonder that they don't scatter like rats. That continues to make the stock market the only game in town, because as more people see that the market resists these, we had a terrific drop of about 600 points, a really strong, good shakeout. They're really good for markets. And, people think, oh, well, that was it. They're going to get their comeuppance now. And then, we keep moving up to new all-time highs. And pretty soon, the naysayers are the ones jumping in there and buying everything hand over fist. And when they finally jump in, you and I will be hitting the exits. Have a good rest of your August. I will see you for the next update in September. And as we move into fall, as the Chinese say, may you live in interesting times. And we certainly do. See you then, and thanks so much for watching.